This teacher wasn't a psycho. He just made me want to kidnap him, hold him for ransom, sell him to the highest bidder, and use the money to invest in a better teacher. Okay, maybe I'm the psychopath. The worst part about the teacher is that he really wasn't the worst teacher that I've had. I've had way worse. See, I used to go to a private school, and while I attended, I've been blessed to endure the worst classes of my life. But we're not talking about that. Today we're talking about my science teacher. For convenience, I'll call him Maz, mostly because he's collabing with me, and it's convenient.
G'day guys, how's it going?
Oh, you really don't have eyes? I thought that was a joke. You should get that checked out. It's kind of weird.
I must admit it is pretty hard because I bump into a lot of things and the nights are always the hardest.
Well, you battle your inner demons. Rooting for you, but I have to go on with the video. See, the first week I was in his class, he was down to earth. He would say stuff like,
I am a human. I can make a mistake, and if you have a problem with the mark I gave you, come talk to me.
I already knew that Moz was going to be my favorite teacher that semester. He just reminded me of my grade 8 homeroom teacher, and she was chill too. But after the first month, he started showing his true colors, that color being the bold shade of a hypocrite. Now, in my opinion, if you're a two-faced child, I don't want to talk to you. If you're fake with your friends and you're a two-faced teenager, I don't even want to look at you. But if you're a teacher and for some reason you start being fake with your students, don't worry, there's a special phone call from child services for you. Anyways, Ma started acting cocky, and it's like his IQ dropped in favor for his ego. He lost some hair, let himself go. Okay, that didn't happen, but you get the point. For example, one day he was talking about the structure of a lab report, and he said,
If your hypothesis doesn't match your conclusion, then it's no worth reading it, because I can tell the rest of it is going to be like that, and I'm usually 98% correct.
oh, I see, you're a robot, and that makes a lot of sense. But, how can you get an exact number for that? Hypothesis over conclusion times how many craps I give equals 98. Cool, I guess. Anyways, this teacher will always teach us something and then give us a test on it the next day. Now, if you had a question for him, you're kind of out of luck because he would only just say go on YouTube. YouTube isn't giving me my credit. Do your job. That's something he didn't understand. Anyways, I did check on YouTube and I found a guy, Tyler DeWitt, and he taught me way more than this teacher would. Sadly, he only does chem stuff, so you kind of gotta see some Khan Academy for physics. Anyways, another thing that EQ would do is joke around. Now, there's a lot of stuff you can joke about. Why the chicken crossed the road, memes, Donald Trump. But some things aren't. Just flat out lies. He would just joke about flat out lies, like how lazy his kids are. But I never got this. See, this teacher put us in two groups of 3, so it would be less work for him. And he gave us tests that were the same as the study material. And when I mean the same, I mean the exact same questions in the exact same order. So it would be less work for him. He also told us to give those tests to our neighbor because, they could mark it instead of him. So it would be less work. He didn't even teach the circuits properly. He just literally left and put on the magic school bus. So tell me who's lazy in this situation. 20 other students with 3 other classes and your crappy test, or the guy who makes the students mark those tests for him. If you probably thought that was bad, you're gonna hate this one too. You know how I said I hate a hypocrite? Well, here's where it comes in. Okay, you're gonna have to understand that on Friday I had an event, so I and a lot of other students missed that class. It was appropriate to give us a test on Monday, even though he hadn't explained it to half the class. But Monday comes, and instead of giving us the test, this man's heart grew 3 sizes that day, because he was gonna explain it to us for once. But my guidance counselor called me down to see if I wanted to take summer school, so by the time I did come up, he was done explaining. I said that I wanted a quick explanation before I got the test, but it turns out his heart shrunk back into a raisin because he said no. His reasoning was because I already had the test with me, and yes, I'm aware of the sheet that's placed on my desk, but I haven't been taught this, and he said something between the lines of, you should have studied. Okay, you can't expect someone to learn something without giving an explanation. Okay, another thing that you gotta know about this teacher is that he loved to brag. A lot.
And so basically, if I hadn't taught her compounds, she wouldn't even be here right now.
You're not a hero. I don't know why you're acting like you can save people's lives by teaching them science, basic compounds. He literally doesn't even teach you what compounds to mix to save a person. Friggin' medicine or elixir, I guess. He just tells you what not to mix. Why are you mixing compounds in the first place? If you are mixing compounds in the first place and you're not a scientist, then that's probably your fault. Anyways, this is the last story, but basically we had a test, again, and you need to understand for the past few weeks we've been having tests nonstop. So I really wasn't having it. I wasn't in the mood for a scrap, especially what was going to unfold. So during the test, I noticed something strange. One of the questions read sulfur carbide, which is wrong. It's supposed to be sulfur monocarbide, the more you know. But since Maz was a robot who was 98% correct, I was like, shoot, is it sulfur carbide? So I wrote carbide. Get the test back. Turns out it was monocarbide. So I went to him and said, hey, I know I got this wrong, but you wrote here sulfur carbide. And he responds with,
That's an error.
I'm sure it's an error, but when a teacher has a mistake on a test, that teacher should correct it and notify the class, right? And you know what this man says to me? You know what this child of a man says to me?
No, a teacher should know what I just did, okay?
He should have left it at that. I would have been less mad. I wouldn't be making this YouTube video if he just left it at that, to be honest. He walks back to his desk not 2 seconds before telling me that that's not what a teacher should be doing. He walks back and says, okay class, there's an error. This should say sulfur monocarbide. First of all, way too late. It's a week past the test. Why are you giving us this information when basically I was the only one who made that mistake? And yes, it's probably my fault for reading that wrong, but it's also your fault for not even correcting it during the test. So right when a teacher shouldn't be doing that, you're probably saying that this is what a teacher should be doing, but just a week after the test, because that's still convenient for me.
Hi everybody, my name is Indigo Animations, and I sincerely do hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did like it, why don't you just give it a subscribe? Mostly because I don't get paid until you do. Anyways, I'd like to thank my friend TheAMaazing for collabing on the video. I heard he's a really nice, swell, really good-looking guy. Yeah, really just the perfect man, basically. And with that said, goodbye, guys.